Hi, this is Tasha, the Crafty Kraut. I'm going to do some macaroons today, some French macarons. I have this recipe that I got online, and I will post that below also. So what you're going to do, I like to weigh my ingredients. I find that it's the best way. So you're going to get about 140, well no, you're going to get 140 grams of egg white, and you want that at room temperature. You want 70 grams of regular sugar. You want 130 grams of powdered sugar or icing sugar. It's the same thing. And then you are going to do 120 grams of almond meal. And then 2 grams of salt, which is just a pinch. And then food coloring of your choice. So you're going to weigh all that out. And then the way I do it is I actually blanch my almonds and I grind them. I do it in a food processor. I'll show you how I do it, but I do it in a food processor. Then I take that and I put it into a coffee grinder, and then I sieve it through a sieve, I guess. And then you're going to actually mix the powdered sugar along with that, and that kind of helps so that the almonds don't stick to the food processor and to the coffee grinder. So you're going to mix the almond meal, or the almonds, and the powdered sugar together, and you're going to work those until they go through a sifter without any clumps, because you want this nice and fine. You can also buy almond meal. You can do that. I just don't use that much almond meal, so I just do a cup or 2 cups of almonds when I need them, and it's really easy. If they're raw almonds, they're just plain almonds, all what you have to do is boil them in hot water for 90 seconds. Then you take them out, you strain them, and then you take the skin off, you let them dry overnight, and then you just process them however you need them. So I just find that better since I just don't use it that often. But anyway, so I'll show you next how to process the almond meal and the powdered sugar to get the consistency that you need. Okay, so this has to be pretty fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put my almonds in here. It's going to be loud, so bear with me. So they're still pretty choppy right now, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my icing sugar. And you're gonna have to, this has to be really fine, so you're gonna sieve it through the sieve. This is actually the worst part of making them, is getting all the ingredients together. Alright, so you can kind of see it's coming together a little bit better. Go ahead and put the rest of the flour in there. Yeah, so you can see the almonds are getting pretty small. All right, so I'm gonna do that a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put it in my sieve. And it has to be really fine, so I'm gonna put it through there a few times. The finer, the better for the almonds. I mean, for the macaroons. That actually looks really good. So, go ahead and scoop it into the sieve. And then whatever I have left over, I'll put back in here and keep doing that until it's all good. they're actually still pretty big, the almonds. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see this, but they're actually still pretty chunky. So I'm gonna put them back in here. And we're gonna do it again. They're still pretty big, but I'm gonna go ahead and just put it through, and then I'll do the rest again. And then sometimes I actually put it through my coffee grinder because that even grinds it smaller. So this is, I mean, you can buy Almond Meal, but it's kind of ridiculous because you can, I mean, you can just do this. I know it's kind of time consuming. If you don't have time, you can buy Almond Meal. And I don't know if you can buy another attachment for the food processor that does it, you know, finer or not, but I don't have that. This is what I got, so this is what we do. Yeah, it's still quite big. So I'm gonna get my coffee grinder out, which is nice and clean, so I don't use it. I'm gonna put that in there, and then get these a little finer. And you'll see, I'll show you. You see how fine that got it? Oh yeah. Still some big chunks in it. Well, not big, but bigger. And we'll put that back through there. And we will continue this process until it's all done. All right, so this is my almond powdered sugar mixture. And I have my regular sugar here, and then you need your egg whites. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, or this is what I do anyways, I have a macaroon template that I printed out from online. This is where I got it from, southernfatty.com. Anyways, I got that offline, and then I printed 2 of them and I taped them together, and I put this under parchment paper. And I also use, hold on. Sorry about that. I also use a silicone mat underneath the template. So I put the silicone mat, the baking sheet, silicone mat, the template, and then the parchment paper. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe out the macaroons, and then I just lift up a corner here, and then I just slide out the template, and it slides out very easily. So you can just keep reusing that. Don't bake it with the paper in it, because you might burn it. So now we are going to whip up the egg whites. Okay, So now we are going to whip up our egg whites. Got the camera here. You want to make sure you have a very, very clean bowl. The bowl doesn't have any remnants of any kind of oil or anything like that, because if it does, your egg whites will not set up. You're going to attach your mixer with a whisk attachment. I have my 140 grams of egg whites. I actually have this egg white left over from when I made the German butter cookies, which I'll put a link to. So I have these egg whites left over. I've never tried it with store-bought egg whites in the container. I've heard some people say it works, and I've heard some people say it does not work, so I am not going to chance it and waste a bunch of egg whites, so I just use egg whites from a regular egg. So you're going to put your egg whites, your 140 grams of egg whites. You can preheat your oven. I preheat my oven to 300. You're going to take your caster sugar, I guess that's what it's called, and you're going to put it in with your egg whites into the bowl, and you're going to mix it until it forms stiff peaks. Okay. Some people do this differently. I'm following this recipe. I've done this recipe many times, and it turns out the best. Some people say you whip the whites until they're kind of foamy, and then you add the sugar in. But this recipe says add it in together, turn it up, and then you just let it whip until the egg whites form. So we're going to have to go ahead and do that. So I have my 70 grams of sugar, and I already measured all this out. And I'm just going to kind of mix it on low until the sugar kind of mixes up. Not sure if you can see in here or not. Kind of a hard angle to see. So I see the sugar kind of stuck down there. But anyways, I'm just going to whip it on, I guess it's 4 on the KitchenAid. I kind of do it on 4 until it's a little frothy, until the egg whites are a little frothy. And then I turn it up and I just let it whip until there's stiff peaks. And you can always do the upside down test too. If you flip it upside, you take your bowl and you flip it upside down, you hold it upside down. If the egg whites don't fall out, you're good to go. If they fall out, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do because you lost egg whites. But you'll see stiff peaks when you take out the paddle, and you just sweep it up and they stay stiff. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it's kind of foamy. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up, and I'm gonna let this whip. It does take quite a few minutes for it to become stiff peaks, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to get white, and it's still going to take a while. Make sure you have a spatula, and what you're going to do once it's done, you're going to add in your food coloring. And you want to use gel food coloring. If you see that, that is not stiff peaks. Almost there, but not quite. So just a little example. All right, I think that is good. You see here, it's pretty stiff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my food coloring. You don't need a ton of food color. And then I'm going to just give it a good mix to incorporate the food color, just like 10-20 seconds, and then we're gonna macaroon it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with a drop. I don't mind if they're light. Maybe I should go with a little more. So I'm using a deep pink. We'll see how it turns out. You don't want to go too dark. I think that's good. All right, so for a baby shower, so pretty little pink it is. You see how pretty and stiff it is? All right, so get all your stuff out of there. Now I have my almond powder, which I have put back through the sieve. I just did it one extra time. Let's see if I can get a better angle here. So I just put my almond powder back through the sieve one time, and now I'm going to go ahead and put it into my egg whites. There's actually some white egg whites on the bottom, but I think it'll all incorporate. So, and you're going to fold this in. You don't want to overdo it because you don't want to break down your egg whites. So you're just going to fold. Turn and fold. And you really don't want to do this more than about 30 to 50 times. But it still has to be incorporated, so it's kind of a fine line. Just keep on folding. Make sure you get the flour incorporated. The texture you want is kind of like this lava would probably be the best example. So, alright, so I have most of my flour incorporated there. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of mix and push. You're going to continue this until you get the texture you want. You want it smooth too, you don't want it lumpy. Make sure you get all the flour up off of the bottom. So if you do this too much, they will become runny. You don't want runny. But see, that's still too thick. And there's still kind of clumps, so I'm just going to keep on folding. And I do it on my KitchenAid because I have it locked in. That way I kind of have control of the bowl, unless you're using a different kind of bowl. I have pink icing on my hand, or pink food coloring. Alright, get that all off. Getting there. It's very close, very, very close. Tell you one thing, this is a shoulder workout after you just worked out arms. Shoulders, arms. Okay. So, I think I have about the consistency I want, just a little bit more. Now you're going to get a piping bag ready. You can use a tip, or you can cut a hole, however you want to do it. I have a tip in place. A Wilton number 12, I believe I have. And I'm using a disposable Wilton bag. So these macaroons do not have to sit out and dry to form a skin. So you do not need to do that. Okay. Okay, so I have my bag set up here. I just put it over a cup. I have my tip in the bottom folded up so that the stuff doesn't run out. And now I'm just going to spoon my mixture in here. It'll probably be actually easier if I use the spoon instead of a spatula. Get it down in there. Stuff gets kind of messy and sticky. but they're so worth it. Okay, I don't want my piping bag too big or too full. So I'm gonna stop about there. Go ahead and cover up my mixture so nothing gets in there. Okay. Now we are going to come over here. You can see that. Not the best angle, I don't think. Okay. So now I'm going to follow my template for my macaroons. And I'm just going to, what's that? Buzz or something. Oops. Okay. We don't want that. Okay. All right. Okay, so just follow your template on the macaroons. They have big ones and small ones. I'm doing big ones. So you're just going to pipe them out. And you just kind of flip your finger, your wrist. Pipe it out. And do a little swirl. You're going to do that all the way around. I'll make some small ones too, but the first batch I want big ones. This is kind of so you don't want those little tops on top because you'll see those after they bake. But we're gonna pound these down too. Get all the air bubbles out. Hopefully I have them all about the same size. And then I'm going to put my piping bag back into my cup with the tip folded so that it doesn't leak. All right, so there are my macaroons. So I'm going to reach underneath. I'm going to grab the template. Be careful. A little tear right there. And I'm just going to pull it out, just like so. Okay. Now, this is where the macaroons are made. So you want to pound it. So you can do about 3 times on each side. You can also put a little bit of the meringue underneath your parchment paper so it doesn't move, but I just kind of hold my fingers here and do it. And then you'll see the little bubbles kind of coming up to the surface. You don't want bubbles. I see a couple that have bubbles, so what I'm going to do is just kind of pound it like so. Okay, so they actually look pretty good. We get a toothpick, and just the big ones I'm just going to get because I don't want them to be a problem in the oven. You know, ones I can see. All right, I think those are about it. All right, so I'm going to put this on the bottom rack of my oven. You don't want to bake them together. You don't want to bake multiple sheets together. I put this on the bottom of my oven and bake it for about 14 minutes. You just kind of have to keep an eye on it. They're very fickle, so let's see what happens. So 300 for about 14 minutes. Okay, so here are the macaroons. My first batch, some of them cracked. I actually put them on the bottom tray or the bottom shelf of the oven, and they should have been on the second to the bottom. So as you can tell the difference, I'm not sure if you can tell the difference. That's just for different racks that they were on. So see, some of them cracked. These are almost perfect. One has an itsy beansy little tiny crack, but you can see they have little feet on them too. So they're pretty. And then I will fill them with chocolate ganache, and then some of them I will fill with a dairy-free chocolate buttercream for the mommy-to-be that doesn't eat dairy. Okay, so here are the finished macaroons. My husband. I have the inside of these made with the chocolate ganache, which is just your choice. Your choice of chocolate chips. I use semi-sweet chocolate chips and heavy whipping cream. Ganache is really easy to make, but here are my macaroons. They're tricky little boogers to make, but they're yummy. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks again for watching, and give them a try and enjoy.